Welcome traders, thank you for joining me. This is Mike Hamilton from Trade the Easy Way, and I've got the daily S&Ps here. I wanted to show you what I'm seeing in that at the moment. A pretty thin week on the data front, with a couple of exceptions. We got UK inflation on Tuesday and US Fed minutes on Wednesday. Options expiry on Friday. So what I'm expecting is, normally, typically on options expiry, you would see a push into a major pivotal area and then direction after that. So what I'm looking for in these S&Ps is, we're in a box, we're clearly in a box. After this dip in January, February, we pushed up into this resistance, and with a couple of little peak, 2-3 peaks above that, we have stayed within that range. So we are very firmly in a box at the moment. I think with the devaluation of the yuan, the Chinese currency, I think the Fed will want to be cautious, short to medium term cautious, and so I think the rate rise is potentially pushed back to November, December. They are very close to a rate rise because of the way in which markets are behaving. I think we've had practically zero rates in the US for a number of years now, and that's got to change. Otherwise, this is going to be a bubble that's going to get out of hand. So my guess is, if the Fed are neutral to dovish, I think this support level will hold. We may visit this level here. Now, after options expiry, the market may then start to price in a rate rise for any time between September and December, at which point I think that will see the market start to potentially roll over, and this box height is potentially going to be repeated for the down move. So that would put us somewhere around the 1950 mark, because that distance there I would expect to be the distance that we would see in a drop. And likewise, if we close above here, I expect that distance to be seen up there. But this is my most likely scenario: a push higher into that resistance, and then into next week potentially start to see this coming off. Monday's close is going to be crucial. If we close under this 2070 in the early part of the week, or any one day in the week, then just expect that to sell off. Right, moving on. This is the DAX. So I would expect short-term move into this moving average. There's not a moving averages there. I expect a short-term move into that. We're under the 200 EMA here, so we could even break these lows and just go. I think we'll wait until we meet those moving averages before the next leg down. And the FTSE closed above Thursday's bar, so I would expect we got this little pennant here, this little triangle, to close above 6600, and I think we can push higher at this point here, which would make it round about the 6700, 6725 would be the point in which this could just roll. There's a massive area of resistance up here. Close above it, and of course we could just start reaching up. I mean, a pattern like this, a pattern that holds like that, is potentially very bullish. We take take everything else off of here. That's a potential three-wave holding pattern, which is, like I said, very bullish. There's one. Okay, I mean, that just at least took us into resistance. This, of course, is one. It took us on a little run up to that level there. So it's just a question of whether, if this is going to run, we're definitely going to need to close above 66.40, 66.50, and ultimately to really spring, we need to get above this level here on the FTSE. So like I said, short-term bullishness into these levels here, into 6,700 at least, and then the market's got to make its mind up whether it's going to hold or just pull the plug. Right, moving on to currencies. Let's look at the implication for the dollar and the yen. US dollar yen is very flat. Weekly level has hardly moved, so we've got this level of support and we've got this level of resistance. Obviously, you know, the Fed day, this is going to wait for the Fed day probably. It's holding this for 20 EMA, but we can't move out of this seller's bar range at the moment, so it's very, very flat. Previous, obviously decent move up here, previous moves to the downside have seen some pickups, and this plunge was very nice and neatly into that support area here. So close above this area, this level here, close above 125, and we could start really singing. Otherwise, test 126 and fail, and this is toast. Short term, I would just leave it. US dollar CAD. Obviously, you know, decent moves. 1, 2, 3, A, B, C. So if this is a D wave, this 131's got to hold, and then we're going to have to restart closing above 132 before we can really go for 135 plus. Would I buy that? Yeah, I mean, I would see this as holding. Monday's close can be critical. Take your time. Let's see what Monday gives us. Right, I mean, the Sunday open is already underway, so I'm doing this video a little later than I normally do, and we've opened higher. So a nice little push up here, but that sort of funnel pattern could easily be broken by a close, could easily prove to be a breakdown pattern if we close under 156 on Monday or Tuesday. So weak inflation, and I'm expecting weak inflation given the drop in energy prices that we've seen. I think this could roll over. So just again, watch out for 156. Pound yen, very range bound. Yeah, you can see the resistance up here. We'll close the gap at 195.20 area. Had a little couple of nudges under this trend line. 20 EMA is holding, but we can't seem to do much. So a close lower than 194 in particular is potentially bearish. Close above 195 on Monday is potentially bullish. Like I said, I think the main pressure is going to be to the downside on the pound, short term anyway. Right, euro. Let's just have a look at a couple other pound pairs first. Aussie pound, beautiful trending chart here. Just sits on the 20 EMA all the way up. Currently sitting on the 20 EMA here. So it pushes the downside up till now have been bought. And last week was no exception. You know, deeper pullback. You know, deeper pullback here got bought. Deeper pullback here so far got bought. but we can't close above this level here. I will just keep buying pullbacks on this one, because ultimately I think 218 is going to get bought. It's going to come and get tested. Pound CAD, I was waiting for a deeper pullback. I was hoping for a test of 201. Not got it. Two decent bars. In fact, that's better than the pound Aussie at the moment. So a pullback to 204 is a potential for that one. We're testing this star here at the moment. So that's going to be a risk until we get that inflation data out of the way. Euro. And I think the fact that we're sitting above what I've got down here as the 2015 mean, based on this January 25 low, the fact we're sitting on there to me is bullish. And what I think might happen is we get a pullback to this area here, which would put it at 110.40. So about an 80-point drop here. We get an 80-point drop and hold. I think then this could push higher on the Euro US. Euro Yen, and a nice push. This goes much further back. So test, and then we get squeezed. We get pushed higher. Bearish close on Friday. New high, close below next day. I think we just need a pullback to this area here before this gets a leg up to 140. So that would put us at 1370. But just bear in mind that, so I would not touch this until we see this come and test this moving average. We've got a cluster of moving averages here and not moving averages. So I think the 20 MA is going to drift up. I think we need the price to come down and meet it, at which point I think then we can start to catch up. However, if we just keep closing lower, I would stay out of it. So what's my main charts? I actually think the Euro US and the Pound US are my favourite charts at the moment. Other ones are just a little bit too risky, and I think these are higher probability. I'm just looking for a pullback on this one on Monday. I'm going to have to manage my stock very carefully to make sure we don't get any nasty surprises on inflation on Tuesday. If we get close to the inflation announcement and I get some sell signals into the data and I've not got much of a buffer, then I'll just come out. If I can get a dip and have enough of a buffer into the inflation data, then I will hold. But starting the week, after a lot of turmoil in China, with a lot of slow, low summer volume and not a lot of clarity in the charts, I started this video saying, what's the impact on the dollar and the yen. Well, at the moment, we saw some strength in the dollar the back end of the week, and some strength in the yen on Friday. So that's why we need to just sit tight and give these charts a little bit more time to set up. Okay, let's just look at gold and oil. This is gold. So saw some weakness in the second half last week. I was hoping we get a test of 1130, potentially 1140 up here, 1150. We're stuck between the 50 and the 100. No, in fact, that's the 20 and the 50. Sorry, this is the 100 and the 200 above here. It's struggling. It could be I'm too late to short this and we just lose our footing and roll over. revert back to the downtrend, but I'll stay tight on Monday and watch that. Oil, just really, really weak. I'm not seeing any sense of real buying opportunities here. I'm just seeing, at the moment, I'm seeing a lot of sideways action. We're holding these lows down here just. Would I buy this? No. I would not buy oil at the moment. If we close above 43.50 on Monday, this is a continuous contract, not September, then we do stand a chance. I would definitely look at the oil stocks, and the oil support services are doing okay in the main. You know, struggling at times when the oil just hits resistance and sells off, obviously, but on the whole, the oil stocks are not doing too bad. But I'm not seeing any confirmation of any holding at the moment. Right, I'll do a stock scan on Monday at Traders Roundtable. Traders Roundtable is going to be about planning the rest of the week. Yeah, by the time we get to the Traders Roundtable, we'll have an initial indication of where the markets want to do. So I'm going to talk about how you can maximize your potential for getting in some kind of run during an intra-week trend, and how you might be able to build a position around that for very little risk. Okay, so we'll talk about planning for the week and a trading technique to minimize your risk and maximize the potential of a move. All right, thank you for joining me, and see you. I'll open in the room at 12 o'clock midday tomorrow on Monday, and then we'll see where we are from there, just to get a fix on what may be holding, may give us at least a short-term move. All right, happy trading, and look forward to seeing you then.